Have you ever thought about making a podcast?
Yeah, we're doing it.
I know I have. You get it? So, when we were thinking about putting out a podcast, we wanted to make sure that we had all of the, software things that we needed to record. We wanted to have all the things that we needed to edit. And it seemed like there was a lot of different things and a lot of different places. But what we found was Spotify for podcasters. And that was really what we needed to open the door to all of those different things. They have it all.
Right. I'm a technology dummy, but with the Spotify for podcasters, you can use it from your phone or you can use it from your computer. So even if you travel or you're on the road, you can still do your podcast. If you want to go interview somebody at their house, you can do that with your phone, which is super cool. And then, you can distribute your podcast on it's called rebranded, but it was Anchor before. Now it's Spotify for podcasters.
Yeah.
Nice. You can also do video podcasts, have conversations with your fans. You can take it to the next level even and have a Q&A or polls. So with that, you can also earn money doing ads like this one.
What?
Best of all, it's totally free.
So it's free.
So it's free. So don't miss out. If you have a voice and you want to get it out there to the public, don't be scared. Just get on to
Did you say skirt?
Spotify.com/podcasters. Or you can download the Spotify for Podcasters app on any app store. So Spotify.com/podcasters to get started putting your crazy voice out there on the internet.
And getting fringy.
That's
Do
right.
it.
Stay fringy, my peeps.
Do it.
All right, and welcome back to That's So Fringy podcast. I'm Rick,
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bethany.
and we are here with another Fringy
Fringy
morsel. That's right, we harmonize. So we wanted to talk a little bit about some more, what do you call them? Current events. That's right. We like all of these current events, and we like to give you the perspective that we see. And so we're going to bring you another one of those tonight. But before we do, I wanted to just say, don't forget to review, like, and subscribe. And the reason that we say that isn't just to say it. We're saying it because it helps with the algorithm. It really does. It helps people
We've really
to find
seen it help lately.
Yeah, so the more that you can, it's called subscribe on Spotify. I know it's called follow on Apple Podcasts. So just make sure you're doing that. If you don't mind, that would help us out greatly. Get our message out to as many people as possible. Also, you can go to the bottom of the show notes, and there's those links that I've mentioned before. One to support us financially if you'd like to do so, or you're choosing to donate in that way. And also we have the other link where you could leave a voice message, and on that voice message you could just, you could get as creative as you want. You could ask a question, you could leave a comment, you
can
be
sing a
silly.
song.
Yeah, you can sing a song, you can harmonize,
Yep.
as some are known to do. And so that is that. With the fringy morsel that we got tonight, I'm going to have Bethany introduce it because she's the one that brought this to us tonight. And so, Bethany, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so we are going to discuss the new-ish palm scanning technology. So I saw an article from 2021, I think it was the New York Post. So obviously it was out a couple years ago, 2 years ago. I haven't really heard a ton about it, except more recently. I
think it's
Amazon.
mostly been at the Amazon Go stores, and we live in small town USA, so we're not even remotely close to an Amazon Go store. I've never even seen one.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know what that was.
As much as we spend on Amazon, I feel like we could support a Go store here.
Yeah,
We could probably install our own Go store right down the street here.
I think so.
you're not wrong.
Fund it entirely ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better about the Amazon shopping.
That's
okay.
fine. It's
Mostly
fine.
because Rick is tired of burning all of my cardboard.
Well, the thing is when the guy with the package sees the name and doesn't even have to look at the address anymore,
Oh, stop
that's when you know it's a problem.
Exaggeration.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about this palm scanning technology? First of all, how do they? Is it like an implant? Is it like how does it work?
So I think it's supposed to be touchless. So you hold your palm over the scanner, but I pictured it like a pad, you put your hand down on, but it's not. It's touchless and it's basically like how you use your face to open up your iPhone.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's thinking right now of like the 80s and 90s TV shows where you're going into like CIA headquarters or something, and you got to like scan your retina and put your
Yeah.
palm up on that scanner, and it's always green with like a hand outline, and then that red line goes. Yeah,
Yep.
up. That's probably what people are picturing right now. But this thing's a little bit different. It's just kind of like a pole type thing that comes out of the ground, and then there's it's just basically a thing that you wave your hand over, and so when you go to make a purchase for your groceries or for anything really, they're probably going to try to introduce it to as many places. I've heard Panera Bread.
Yeah, Panera is the first company outside of Amazon that's rolling it out, but it's been at like the Amazon Go and then Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon.
Yeah.
They've had them there. I've heard that some like big stadiums and some airports have them, but
Well, yeah, because they're not only can you buy groceries, but you could also, I mean, think of all of the things that you have for like tickets and stuff like that. So they're saying going into a sporting event, you could scan your ticket with just waving your hand over this thing. You can get on your plane by just waving your hand, and so it's just one more of these biometric type scanners. Yeah, and I don't know, it's kind of weird to me because it's like we already have this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if
we already have touchless because I use Apple Pay on my phone all the time because my children always have my debit card, but I use it all the time, and you don't have to touch anything with that besides your own phone.
Right.
Yeah, and when you have the Face ID on an iPhone, and you have the thumbprint scanners and all of that stuff on the Samsungs, and whatever phone or device that you have, there's some kind of biometrics that's already built in. Even laptops, a lot of them have fingerprint scanners and stuff like this. So this isn't really new or shocking.
Right.
I think the most troublesome piece of it, though, for a lot of people, is the fact that it's Amazon,
Yeah.
and they haven't really had a great track record of collecting your data because
And being honest about
Being
it.
honest.
yeah, that's a big deal to people. We want to be honest about. I mean, everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes. People do things. Even company does shady things to save a couple bucks here and there. But like the fact that you are being shady and dishonest about it, like just fess up to the fact that you are collecting data,
Yeah.
so that you could advertise better, so I could market better to people. So I was stealing their information without their permission. So like, okay, fine, don't do that anymore.
But that's what makes me curious about it, because if they were just collecting your data, they can already get that just from your phone.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like there's got to be more to it that they're trying to get. I'm just not smart enough to figure out what it is.
Well, so on your device, like if you're, because I know that some of us in the room are less technically
That seems
capable
a bit harsh.
Probably not
than
us,
others
but-
in the room.
But
for
I feel
those
attacked.
for those that are a little more, stunted in their technical growth, there is on the iPhones and on the Samsungs and those type of things, when you set up your biometrics on there, it stores it on the phone, on the device.
Right.
Or like if you set up your fingerprint print scanner on your computer, it saves it there on that device locally. In this case, it would be storing all of your biometrics on the cloud, on the Amazon cloud.
Right. So
Right.
Panera Bread came out and said, "Don't worry, none of your stuff is going to be stored on the device in the store. So if somebody grabs it and runs off with it, it's fine." And I'm like, "Wait." Then it's being stored somewhere else. Then you hear it's stored in the cloud, and I'm like, "Wait a second."
Yeah. Well, and how secure is your cloud, Amazon? Like,
Right.
hopefully it's secure, but we all know that a lot of these big corporations have been hacked.
Oh yeah.
And we know that there are people that can do it. So who's to say that they can't hack it and get in there and get your information? And anybody that's smart enough to hack into Amazon's mainframe can probably use a 3D printer and make your handprint pretty easily. And so it's like there's all of these possibilities for being hacked and having your stuff stolen. No, they might not be able to get it right out of that machine, but they could
Right.
get it.
It's
Right.
still stored in there. And then, yeah, it just makes, I always wonder what are they doing with all the stored data? There's got to be something more than just marketing and advertising. I don't know.
It is interesting because there was that article, I think it was you, Kristen, that showed me that, where it was talking about how Amazon's not complying with
yeah.
some of the things that they're supposed to be complying with.
Yeah, so it was a lawsuit actually that was filed by a gal in New York City from an Amazon Go store that basically said that the company's not complying with. There's certain laws that they have to state if they're going to collect your biometric data. They have to put it, in writing somewhere, even if it's just really small on the bottom of the page or on the bottom of the window, whatever. But they have to display it. And so this gal basically said they weren't truthful with me on what they were collecting with this biometric data, and they weren't truthful that they were storing it. So I think it's still in the process. I don't know that it's been resolved yet, and we'll put the link to it in the show notes because it's interesting to read through. But
Yeah. So are you you're looking at the affidavit? Is that the affidavit
I
for?
think so.
Super interesting.
There's a lot of good stuff on there. Kristen's looking through it right now. I know that there was a section on there where it was saying something about non-compliance, but it was more specific, where it was actually saying what they weren't complying with.
Right. So it says in here, since 2019, when Amazon first opened several Amazon Go stores in New York City, Amazon has collected, converted, retained, and stored the biometric identifier information of all customers who enter its Amazon Go stores.
Yeah. It's just weird because, I mean, informed consent is obviously part of contract law. Like
Right.
if you're going to go into a contract with somebody, which this would be, because you're giving over your biometrics to another person. So the fact that you walk up to this thing and scan your hand over there and go through the process of setting it up, they're saying, I believe, that that's your consent. You're giving consent by waving your hand over that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's true. That's not informed consent.
Right.
That's me doing something that I see, but I don't know that they're collecting and where they're storing it and all of those different things. Like there's
actually, it's
be
called
more
the
information.
Yeah.
Right. It's called the
yeah.
Biometric Identifier Information Law. So it's an actual law that says you have to basically tell customers what you're doing with their biometric information. So then later on in the lawsuit, it says, despite constantly collecting customers' biometric identifier information in Amazon Go stores in New York City, Amazon has not complied with the simple disclosure requirements of the Biometric Identifier Information Law. They failed to post any signs at the entrances of any Amazon Go stores in New York City that would notify customers that those stores collect, retain, convert, and store consumers' biometric identifier information. So let's just break that down a little bit. So they collect, obviously I know what that is. They retain, meaning they keep it. They're not destroying it, it's being kept. But then it says convert.
Yeah. What does that
What is-
mean?
yeah, what-
Convert to what?
What are they converting
selling
it
it to
to?
different companies?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that comes to my mind is
And then why also would they have collect, retain, which means to keep, convert, and store?
well, because Amazon would have to collect it and then have the ability to store it, and if they wanted to, so like Panera Bread as an example, or Whole Foods, who's also using these, if that information is going from Amazon to these other businesses, then now those businesses have your information in their systems.
So if I've never been to a Panera Bread, which I've only been a couple of times, but
They should
but
have
I
access to
but
it.
I surely spend a lot of time near Amazon things. So if I go to this Panera, would they have that information on me? Like they would know,
They may not have it local, but they could pull it up.
are they all sharing? Is that what they mean by converting? They're
Yeah, that's what they
converting
mean.
it to a.
That's what they mean by it being in the cloud. So you can go to your local grocery store and you can get groceries and you can pay by swiping your hand. And then you can go to a Panera Bread and you can pay by swiping your hand. And it's going to have the same information over there as over there because it's all in the same Amazon cloud. So not only is your information over there, it's over there, it's over there. And potentially if they put these things up everywhere and somebody steals your identity,
You're screwed.
you're screwed. Because
It's connected to
They
You
can-
can't just call and cancel your card.
no,
Not,
you'd
yeah,
have,
it's not just one
stolen.
card.
right.
Like this
You'd
is,
have to cancel your hand.
Yeah, this is all of your bank information, all of your social. I would imagine, like everything's got to
Everything.
be in.
Maybe your social credit score.
I was just gonna say, do you think this is a segue to having a social credit score?
Would
You
not
never know.
surprise
I
me.
mean, China's already doing it. China's already doing these social credit scores where it's based on how you are related to public, how you
Yeah.
deal with situations, how you.
Maybe
are
we'll
you,
do a Fringy Morsel on that.
Yeah, we might.
Social credit scores.
We might.
I don't know. It just seems like I feel like I'm 50%. This is super awesome and convenient, and like 50%, I don't feel comfortable.
I agree. I actually
know.
mostly don't feel comfortable.
So you're like 80-20.
Yeah.
Well, obviously,
75,
there's going to be
25.
a lot of people that are like screaming, "This is the mark of the beast," you
Sure.
know. And
Well, yeah.
I just don't see that. I don't think that this. I don't. First of all, the whole mark of the beast thing is very controversial, and if anybody can pin it down to what it actually is, let me know, because nobody has seemed to been able to do that through time. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that think it's a lot of different things, but if we're just to read it literally, then the Bible says that in the end times there will be a mark, the mark of the beast, that will be on the right hand and the forehead of a person, and it will be the thing that allows them to then do commerce, to trade, to barter, to they wouldn't be able to operate in the marketplace
Right.
without this thing. And so a lot of every time somebody sees like the debit card or all of these things that have come throughout time, everybody gets all spooked out and they're like, oh my gosh, the debit card is the mark of the beast, or oh my gosh, those Apple Watches are the mark of the beast, or oh my God, you know. And so it's nobody really knows what the mark of the beast is, but it is interesting to just note, and I know there's a lot of people out there talking about that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It makes it weird to think like, okay, so if they're storing all this information, first of all, there was a weird story out of I think it was Portland, Seattle, somewhere over here, where the Alexa machine keeps acting up, which is an Amazon
Right.
device. So it keeps acting up and it keeps storing data. And so it was like a husband and wife, and they were talking to each other, and all of a sudden one of the guy's employees pipes in and calls him and says, hey, I think you're being hacked or something right now, because they're sending me all your audio files. I have them on my email. And the guy's like, what? Like,
What?
Super creepy.
yeah. So it ended up being like, oh, you must have said to send this information to this person. And they were like, no, we didn't. Just did it. So that's like spooky
gosh.
enough as it is.
So they got a hold of Amazon.
Yeah. So they ended up trying to figure out how it happened. And,
Right.
and they pinned it down that it obviously happened through the Alexa device, but they can't figure out how. It's so weird.
Wow.
These like super smart people that can create these things that don't know how to actually troubleshoot them. Come on.
Yeah.
They got to know.
Success.
So sketchy, because if you think about Amazon and what they have their tentacles in right now,
Right.
I mean, all of the Ring software, all of that stuff, that's all run on Amazon's servers. So it's collecting all of this video of everything.
Audio, video.
Video, audio, everything around your house. If you have those in your house, it can collect all of that video.
And the other thing with the Alexas is they don't just record your audio files, but even if you delete them from your device, they still have all the audio.
Yeah, because they store it in the cloud.
Because they store it.
It's
all
not
in the
device
cloud.
proper. That's what's so scary about the cloud is the fact that if it's not secure, which we know that it's not, it can be very dangerous.
Right.
I mean, the AWS, which is the Amazon big conglomerate, that is they're a web host. They host a lot of websites. They have their server farms are massive. And they can do all of this financial stuff. They can do all the Alexa stuff. They can do all the, the Amazon's website's got to be huge servers to run that thing. I mean,
I would imagine.
if you think about all the servers that they have and all the information that they've collected about how the human mind works, just based on how you order things, what you
look at,
what time of the week do you buy that thing? Do you have things on auto buy where it just kind of auto rotates? Do you have it watching things for when they get on sale?
Yeah. How long is it in your cart for?
Hey.
Yeah, they know all that stuff.
That's a good shopping tool because you never know when it's going to go on sale.
You really don't.
Just saying.
So then, you add in the video, you add in the audio, you add in Alexa. Now you've given her control of your house.
Well, and not only can they hear everything in your house, they have where it scans your room with whatever pulsation technology, so it knows how big your house is, which means it probably knows how much money you have in relation to how big your house is. It knows if you've got kid toys on the floor, that you've got kids in the house. It's checking all of this stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, it's collecting data, throwing it through an algorithm, and I mean, nobody's shocked by this, hopefully, because we've all had that conversation where we're sitting there and we're talking about Air Jordans or whatever, and then all of a sudden you pull up your phone and you got Jordans on your
The first ad that pops up.
Yeah, or you're talking about, hey, let's go to that new Mario movie or whatever, and then all of a sudden you've got all these ads for it coming up. Something that you wouldn't even be looking up right then and there. I mean, this has happened to so many people. You'll get ads on Facebook. You were just talking about something, and all of a sudden, here it is. I know so many people that have told me that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we know that they're using it for marketing, but what else are they using it for? And the final point that I'll make on the Amazon servers is that the entire government web pages and all of that different stuff, it's all on the Amazon servers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's who hosts all of that, is AWS.
I guess I never thought of that.
Somebody has to host these websites, right?
Right.
So Amazon hosts all those websites.
Yikes.
Why am I not surprised?
I don't know, but I just love throwing out little bombs like that where people are like, what? And you're just like, I'm going to need you to go look that up because it's true. But it's freaky, right?
It is weird.
They're collecting all of this. How do I know that government website isn't connected to this server through the back door, because they're both on the same network? So how are they not just passing information back and forth?
Well, I have one more Alexa story.
Okay, go.
Stop. Just one more.
Pause. Okay.
So there was another one where the gal has the Alexa in her room. She has a bathroom also in her room. So she comes out of the shower, gets out of the bathroom, and Alexa pipes up and says, "It looks like you left your bathroom light on. Do you want to go turn it off?" So she's trying to figure out, how does it know that this is my bathroom? How does it know that I left the light on? Second of all, because it's not supposed to have a camera in it. It's just an Alexa, all of this stuff. And I mean, who knows? It's not connected to, it wasn't connected to any of her devices. Her electric system isn't. But I'm thinking, what if they try to limit your electricity and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, you've used your allotted number of kilowatt hours for your electricity this month. You're cut off." If we have a power crisis or whatever, it just seems like another way that they can. I mean, they took away this supersize McDonald's. You can't supersize your McDonald's anymore. That can feed a family of 4. Not everybody that's supersizing their McDonald's is doing it for themselves, but it's not even an option anymore. What? This is real. This is real life.
You're right. It's real life, and it is an outrage.
I'm outraged since
Who am I to laugh?
1998 when they stopped supersizing.
You're right. You know what? People need buckets of soda too.
I'm just saying.
I need a Diet Coke with that supersize me.
If I can still go to 7-Eleven and get a giant insulated Mountain Dew, why can't I get a supersized Diet Coke?
Yeah.
It does seem odd.
I had one of those when I was growing up. One of those giant size
Your
things.
whole growing up, one of them lasted you.
Yeah. I used to ride it over to the gas station, to the stinker station.
Did you jump wheelies on your bike over it?
You know I did. But I would go over and fill it up. And you ever do the suicide or the what do they call it? Some people call it
Graveyard.
Graveyard, Russian
Suicide.
roulette. I've heard all kinds of
Yeah.
things, but you basically just do a little bit of each one. That's what I used to do in my mug, just for all of you that
And
needed
then they
to
would
know
have
that.
to refill all the syrups after you left.
Probably.
Because it was
You drained them dry.
78 million ounces.
Here he comes again. that damn
Little
kid.
Ricky's here.
All right, you guys. Well, that is another Fringy Morsel. There's
Just look into it. We'll put the lawsuit thing because it's very interesting. Not just because it's a pending lawsuit, but they actually are suing Amazon.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And it gets no coverage. You don't see this on anything. Everybody's super excited that Panera Bread's going to have a hand scanner, and I'm over here like, wait a second.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If Amazon's attached to it, you might want to think twice about using that thing. I wouldn't give my biometrics to it. I already have a card. I already
Right.
have a
Yeah,
Apple Watch.
exactly.
I already have a phone. Like I can already touchless everything. I mean, duh, we were
Yeah.
doing that. But what they don't tell you is that if you have cold hard cash in your hand, which if you do, I'm sorry, you should probably get rid of it quickly. But if you have cold hard cash
Otherwise, it's going to be a bookmark.
in your hand, you can't use that.
Right.
Well, that was one thing I
have to
did
wait in
read.
line.
Yes,
Yep.
they make you go to like a separate, like you
Yep.
have to go to the timeout corner with the dunce cap. Like you go wait in this cash line until there's an associate that's available to help you. Well, if there's no associates in the store because everything is done by touchless
Robots.
biometrics,
Yeah.
you're going to be standing there a while.
Yep.
And they're not going to give you any change back because there's a coin shortage nationwide. Crazy.
Crazy. Nationwide.
I'm on one again
she's
tonight,
on one.
as
That's
usual.
fine. Ain't nobody mad at you, girl. All right. Well, my people, I think Kristen's going to share with us really quickly what do we have coming up for this Sunday Fringe Day.
Whoa.
Who do we have coming on?
I can't believe you're letting me use the microphone still, but believe it or not, we have a gal on. Her name is actually Kristen, and it's spelled the same way as mine, which is super awesome. And I liked her from that moment. But she has a really, really cool story. She has a really good testimony about some demonic oppression that she was having, or possession that she was having, I guess. And they made a documentary film, and she's in it, which is very interesting. If you have time between now and then to watch the Dark Holler documentary, it's all on YouTube. It's like a 5-part documentary, but the episodes are like 45 minutes. I mean, they're not super long, but very, very interesting story.
Very well done.
Very well done. Like better than, what movie were we just watching that was horrible?
I'm not going to drop dimes.
Okay. I'm
Don't make me.
sorry, but it was really bad. And it was like a Hollywood movie. Anyways, this guy, Ward Heine, who did this one, is awesome. So Dark Holler, and it's on YouTube, or you can go onto there's a website too that you can go onto. But she's got a really awesome story.
Really interesting story.
Yeah.
Lots of weird synchronicities with this story, with this area in West
Yep.
Virginia. Lots of, there's Mothman's involved. There's all kinds of weird stuff. You guys are not going to want to miss this episode. And I promise the audio is going to be better this time.
Oh my gosh, yes. We profusely apologize. We were spring breaking on the Oregon coast, and it was bad news bears for the Wi-Fi.
All right. Well, that's it. You guys got anything else?
Oh, I think we
Nope.
did it.
Okay,
Wrap it
we
up.
did it. Let's wrap it. All right, you guys, we're going to put the little bow on the top of this one and get out of here. We hope you have a good rest of your week, and we will see you again on Sunday.